Hey everyone, and welcome. So think about your website for a second. In today's world, it's pretty much everything, right? It's your storefront, your office, your vault, all wrapped up in one. But let me ask you, how protected is it really? Today, we are going to decode what a website security audit is and figure out what it actually means to be secure online.
It's a pretty simple question, but man, is it a powerful one. You'd never leave your actual office or store unlocked overnight, would you? Of course not. But for so many businesses, their digital front doors are just wide open. And the scary part? Most of them don't even know it. And that's because the internet is, well, it's crawling with these unseen threats that are actively looking for those unlocked doors. It's really not a question of if someone will try to get in anymore. It's a question of when and how ready you'll be when they do. And here are just a few of the things we're talking about. You've got the stuff you've heard of, like malware and ransomware that can literally hold your business hostage. But then there are the more technical attacks, like SQL injection. That's a fancy way of saying a hacker can trick your website's database into just handing over all of its secrets. These are real, everyday threats. And if you want to talk about the sheer scale of the problem, look at this number. Security experts aren't just checking for a couple of obvious weak spots. They are testing your systems against a list of over 35,000 known vulnerabilities. That is a staggering number of ways your digital defense can break down. So with all that looming over you, how in the world do you fight back? Well, the answer isn't just to cross your fingers and hope for the best. It's about having a proactive strategy, and that strategy is called a security audit. So what does that actually mean in plain English? Honestly, just think of it like a full-blown professional building inspection, but for your website. An expert comes in and methodically checks every digital window, every door, every connection to find all the weak spots before they turn into a total disaster. It's all about getting ahead of the problem. And it is so important to get this next part. A security audit is not the same thing as one of those automated vulnerability scans you can run. A scan is just a quick, automated checklist. It's fine. It'll catch the easy stuff. But a real audit, that's a deep dive, led by an actual human expert who is actively trying to break your defenses, just like a real attacker would. Which brings us to what is, honestly, the coolest part of this whole process. See, to build the absolute best defense, you have to understand the offense. You have to learn to think like a hacker. This right here is the whole philosophy. The best auditors don't just go down a checklist. No, they put on a different hat. They adopt the mindset, the creativity, and the sneaky strategies that a real-world hacker would use to try and find a way in. Now let's be super clear. This is what's called ethical hacking. It's a totally controlled, totally safe simulation of a real attack. The whole point is to find the holes in your armor and patch them up long before a real bad guy has a chance to find them. Okay, so how do they do it? It's not just random poking and prodding. It's a very systematic professional process. Think of it like a playbook designed to uncover every single potential weakness. Let's walk through it. First, they do their homework. That's information gathering, mapping out your entire digital footprint. Then, they assess the risks, figuring out what your most valuable data is and where an attack is most likely to happen. Then comes the fun part, the simulated hacking attempts. And finally, everything they find gets put into one big, detailed report. And when I say detailed, I mean they look at everything. Who has access to what? Are your password rules strong enough? Is your customer data properly encrypted so it's unreadable to outsiders? If you take payments, they'll even check your PCI compliance. It is a complete top-to-bottom review. But just finding the problems is only half the battle. A truly great audit doesn't just hand you a long list of things that are broken and say good luck. The real value is in what comes next. Because that final report, it's not just a report card. It's a roadmap. It doesn't just say, hey, this is broken. It explains why it's a risk and gives you the exact step-by-step instructions your team needs to follow to fix it for good. And there's another huge benefit here. Once all the fixes are in place, you can get a certified letter from the auditors. This is basically a seal of approval you can show to your customers and partners. It's a powerful way to prove that you take their data and their security seriously. And the relationship doesn't just stop the second they hand you the report. A good audit firm will provide follow-up support, usually for about 3 months, to help your team and answer questions. They're actually invested in making sure you become more secure. So, after going through all this, from the threats to the process, it kind of brings us right back to that first big question. It's so easy to just assume you're protected, but an assumption, well, that's not a security strategy.
And that's the thought I really want to leave you with today. What's the single weakest link in your digital security chain? If you can't answer that question right away, it might be time to find someone who can. Stay safe out there.